Hello, everybody. We're back, beautiful and live from the iconic Marine Stadium in Miami with one of my dearest and closest pals and mentors, the dive legend Spencer Slate, here at the Coconut Grove Seafood Festival in the Discovery Zone, Eco Discovery Zone. Hello, Spencer.
Hello, Mr. Patxi. What a fun time. You always put these things together, and they're wonderful.
So we've talked a few times today about how you have affected a lot of us who are here today. Not just one, two, like thousands of people who watched you in Skin Diver, who were feeding ballyhoo with your lips with a barracuda. We're going to show some pictures in a minute. But we're here at the Coconut Grove Seafood Festival with Celebration Sea Foundation in the Discovery Zone, Eco Discovery Zone. And we're all here today with Slate's help and this lovely lady we're going to introduce in a minute to support the Keys, the families in the Keys who are devastated by Hurricane Irma at keysstrong.org if you want to help out. So for all of you who are just tuning in today, we're going to be live all weekend on Facebook Live here from the Coconut Grove Seafood Festival in Miami. So Slate, how many years have you been underwater bubbling, you little bubble monster?
Well, if I really am honest about it, you're going to think I'm an old guy, but I started diving in 1963.
I was born in 1963. I can remember that the rest of my life in the next interview. So can you go through the quick couple slides here? I want to get to Slate's shots here. So obviously all of us, Celebration Sea Foundation, Slate has been a huge, every time I do my inner city kids and we go down to the Keys, this guy literally donates the boat, donates his time, takes the kids on the reef for years, literally, for over a decade. Anytime we've asked Slate, boats free, his free, equipment free, gear. This is the guy. What a heart, the size of a whale.
Well, the basic school teacher is in me. I was a high school teacher and love kids, always have, and anything we can do to get them off of the Apple and the cell phone and a computer and in the water, I'll do it.
You've done it. So your shop, which we're always diving, so a little plug, a shout out to Captain Slate.
There we go.
Captain Slate's Scuba Adventures, baby. What's your website, by the way? That.com?
No, it's CaptainSlate.com.
So how about that? CaptainSlate.com. Grab a seatbelt. So if you really want to do some diving in the Keys, and what Elmira, our dear angel in the Keys, with supporting the economy with the diving and the fishing, if you really want to have some fun and dive with a legend, they can actually dive with you literally anytime, right?
I hadn't been in the water feeding critters since yesterday.
Yeah. He's still wet, literally. Mr. Waterlogged here. Anyhow. So how about that next shot? Can we show this? So when I was a kid in Skin Diver magazine, which is like, you know, the place to go see divers, this guy, I used to watch this guy, feed ballyhoo, go back with his lips. So he would take the ballyhoo in his lips, and he would have the barracuda swimming around, and the barracuda would literally snap it right out of his lips, right there. A few times, you've got a few stitches there, right there, big shot?
I've gotten slammed a couple times.
Yeah.
One time, the barracuda hit me in the face twice on the same dive, and Frazier is filming it, and he's going,
yeah.
He's going, don't do it again. I went,
round two.
Did it again.
Yeah. So
and he got it.
Yeah. So good old, and our hats off to dear friend Frazier, my mentor of 40 years. Frazier came down, the same thing as Slate when we need help today with the cameras. He's a 7-time Emmy Award-winning cinematographer. If you look at Shark Week and Discovery Channel, this is the guy. Frazier, do you think he can help us this weekend at the Seafood Festival? Dropped everything he was doing to come down and support us today. So Frazier introduced me to this guy. But at the end of the day, you've influenced a lot of kids like this beautiful woman next to you, right?
If I've influenced one, that's
so
a wonderful thing.
just like me, here's another one of your fans.
That's a wonderful
thing. How about
thing.
that with this beautiful woman next to you? Do you want to talk about, do you remember the experience with Slate? You want to introduce yourself and your organization?
Sure.
Next slide.
Hello, everybody.
Right.
My name is Sarah. I've been diving since I was 14, and my first shark dive was with Captain Slate.
How old were you when you dove with him first
14.
time? 14 years old? Yeah, you have to have a seatbelt even for us old guys to dive with this guy. So a 14-year-old kid dives with the legend, and what happened?
It was the most memorable experience I've ever had. I love sharks ever since I was a little girl. I've been studying sharks. I like them because no one else liked them and they were afraid of them. So when I went on this dive and I saw them face to face, it was like nothing I'd ever seen before.
Because you were always taught it's scary, they're going to get you in the movies. We see all this different sharks have a very different perception to the public, right?
Exactly.
So what did Slate teach you when he took you down there and he showed you? You went on what he calls it the creature feature, right?
Yep.
So when he has the animals and the eels and the sharks come out, what was that like, and what did you remember at 14 years old with that dive?
Well, it was definitely the best shark dive I've ever been on in my life. And that was because I got to interact with the sharks in a way that I never thought that I could before. You get to swim up to them, and he'll actually hand you a nurse shark, which is the most incredible experience that I've ever had. You get to just...
You got a picture there, right? Can you hold
Yeah.
that up? So this is actually like the wall of fame of everybody
Yep.
who's actually endorsed and worked with this beautiful girl.
Yep.
The one on the bottom left, you want to explain what's going on there? That's
So-
Captain Slate, right?
Yeah, that was me on the dive, and I was actually kissing the shark on its back. The sharks are just so docile and they're so gentle, and it was just an amazing experience to be in their environment and to interact with them like that. So it was
So
really
that's a
cool.
pretty powerful poster, because for those of you, who, if you can see these pictures or not, my role models, and actually probably both of our role models, a lot of them are here. So Jean-Michel Cousteau,
Yeah.
I was honored to work many times with the Cousteaus and the Cousteau Society Ambassador for Kids. That's about the A-League there, right? I see you guys
Yeah.
together. And then Captain Slate, you dove with him.
Of
And then
course.
this guy, Stan Waterman, my other living legend and pal. Stan and I, many years ago, my other mentor, he shot the deep with Jacqueline Bisset. I don't know if you remember that kind of chesty shot when she comes out with a wet T-shirt after looking for the gold, or what was it, the little morphine things in the movie, right?
The deep.
The deep, yeah, the deep, yeah.
The deep,
And also
yep.
Jaws
Yep,
with Peter
Jaws.
Guber and all those guys. So Stan is literally like, for all of us who shoot underwater, that guy, again, you're like all legends here in these pictures,
Yeah.
right?
Stan has mentored me for many years now. I actually took a trip with him for, I believe it was his 94th birthday, to Guadalupe. And we dove with the great white sharks there, and it was the most amazing trip to be able to be surrounded by all of these diving legends. Howard and Michelle Hall. We had Dan Orr was there.
Wow.
It was just Sylvia Earle and all these people that I've met that have shown me such amazing things, and really introduced me to the field of conservation and underwater photography and diving. I've had so many amazing experiences with
Incredible.
them.
So Slate, how does that make you feel? I mean, you hear this all the time. All of us keep coming back to you. You've affected so many, probably hundreds of thousands of
started with
people
him.
in your lifetime. You have touched so many, 40 years you've been diving here, right?
40, feeding the critters 40 years. Yeah, 40 years.
How does
That's
that
right.
make you feel? How
Yeah,
many people
well,
you
the
changed
whole
so many people's
goal,
lives?
the only reason, besides just enjoying interaction with the critters, they're like my pets, is that if I can teach someone, and that's what I'm after, adults and children, to respect and cherish those animals, not harm and kill them, leave them where they are, interact with them in the ocean. And if you get bitten doing it, then that's not their fault. But show these people the respect for these animals and why they need to be where they are. No one eats barracuda, sharks, Samora eels, or jewfish, or Goliath groupers, so leave them alone. And they'll come up and play with you and be your friends. That's what I'm after. And yeah, I get smacked in the face by a barracuda every now and then, but it's worth it.
Not just smacked in the face, they literally have ripped his lips open a few times, right? A couple stitches later.
A few stitches.
So with everything that's happening in the Keys right now, and actually Slate was the one that called me and said, I need your help, and literally nobody says no to him, and that led to Elmira and Fraser and an army of people. That was the first call. Literally, I was moving from Naples to Fort Lauderdale that day. Slate's got on the phone, need your help. So nobody says no to you. This is all because of you. So keystrong.org with Elmira and you, everybody bringing everyone together. So what
You brought them together.
No, we all did together, but you and Elmira made this happen. So tell me, with the message that you want to bring people, it's a little challenging because the Keys, first of all, is very proud. The spirit of the Keys, nobody, like Elmira says, is looking for a hand out. They're looking for a hand up. So diving in particular, diving capital of the world, huge economic engine driving, helping the families rebuild their homes and their lives because they need to be working. And the way that they work is people fill in those dive boats.
Correct.
Right? So,
Correct.
So number one is that for everybody listening, if you really want to help the Keys, what they're asking is just come and enjoy the Keys. It's kind of simple, ironically. But every time someone's on your boat, those dive masters and his beautiful daughter, Sky, another amazing role model that you've affected and changed someone's lives with the net. Each time somebody comes down and goes on the boat, it actually helps the Keys by virtue of that diving, right?
Correct.
But the message, because you mentioned it earlier, it's a little bit challenging with the kind of destructive conversation about how devastated it was. And you guys are proud and the spirit is strong. What's the message that you want to give people about what that experience still means in terms of the vitality of the reefs, the vitality of the diving and the tourism, and how that diving economy is so still critically and vital?
Well, what everyone needs to understand, the Keys is a long chain of islands, 138 miles. Fortunately, the entire 138 miles was somewhat impacted, but the worst impact was just south of the 7 Mile Bridge down to just north of Key West. Now, granted, that is a very impacted area.
And that's where? That's Marathon and Cudjoe Key?
7 Mile
Big
Key
Pine,
south.
Yeah.
7 Mile
Yeah,
Bridge south.
yeah.
From the Key just north of Key West all the way forward, Stock Island north to about Big Pine Key. Now, it was devastated in most areas there, and we're working hard. But the reason we're working hard is to get them back up. While, fortunately, the upper Keys, Key Largo all the way down through Islamorada, for the most part, is up and functioning. Like always, people are opening up every day, and we're encouraging our tourists. Of course, they're open to come back, and we have beautiful clear water in the upper Keys, and we want them to come and dive in as we do in Key West and fish, and bring their money to the Keys, their income to the Keys, so we can help support our brothers and sisters down south that got hurt. Because $1 spent in the Keys is $5. I pay my employees, they go out shopping, they buy gas. Those employees go out shopping.
So wait, explain that because that's important. So
yeah,
if $1 on your boat is spent, how does that mean $5?
Five times it turns over.
It turns over
5 times.
In terms of supporting it's cyclical over and over into the Keys.
And we're bringing those people up. It's just going to take longer in that bigger area. And that's where we come in with KeysStrong.org, with Samuel House, and everybody is helping every day on that. Wonderful.
So for those of you who want to help, the big thing in the message for Captain Slate and all of us who've been watching him for years is if you want to really have an spectacular time, grab a seatbelt, get in your car or a plane, a mule, a train, however you can find this guy, and go down and dive with this legend who is always a treat. It literally is about the best entertainment per pound you can get for that buck that goes around 5 times. But Captain Slate is really one of those people in my life, and I think yours too, right? Has been one of those impacting, you never forget this guy. So him and his Barracuda friends, the eels, how many more eels you feeding these days?
6 on one side.
6 more eels. The big one, and what is that? How long is that big one that comes out?
About 7 feet. That's wasabi.
Yeah, wasabi. So if you really want to have an extraordinary experience, please come down, support the Keys. And KeysStrong.org, as Elmira says, they do not want a handout. They want a hand up, and by supporting the diving and the fishing and literally every restaurant, everything you can do, these are a proud people. The spirit of the Keys Slate has never been stronger, and our role model here is continuing to bubble every day, so go bubble with them. So live from the Coconut Grove Sea Festival at iconic Marine Stadium in Miami, Captain Spencer Slate and our beautiful young protege. All right. We'll be back live all weekend. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.